Hi, I want to show you today some of the tricky things that might trip you up if you're working on your rainBOOM wrap. Now I'm going to show you just with a couple of samples I've made. Firstly, I'm going to show you how to take the piece that you've already made. I've made 2 triangles in advance. What we're going to do is take this piece and then we're going to make it so the rainBOOM will then go straight on. So in the end, you have your 2 pieces and we're going to make the middle piece like this. So I'm going to start on this side and I'm going to work back and forth so you can see what you might find a little bit tricky. So I'm going to take my next color and I'm going to join it where I tied my last color off, which was here. So I'm going to slip stitch it to join. Very simply like this, and I'll chain 2 because that was in the instructions. Chain 2, so that's a very simple chain 2, but then I'm going to increase in that first stitch with a treble crochet or a double if you're from the US, and then I'm going to work 1 stitch in each stitch all the way across to the end, but I'm going to stop and not work in the last stitch or in the chain stitch at the end. So for my project, I'm using a 5mm hook, and this is the stone washed regular river washed actually. I've got 2 colors that I'm using that are from another project that I've been working on, and it is the blue one is Rhine and the red one is Mississippi. My 2 favorites are Yarra and Stainbra. So Yarra is the purple color with the blue core, and the Stainbra is purple with the pink core or red core. I think it's just beautiful. So we're nearly at the last. So you can see now I have 2 stitches to go before the end. This is the last stitch. Yeah, now you see I have 1 stitch left and the chain. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work a decrease in the last stitch, and then I'm going to finish the decrease off in that chain space. So I'll show you again. I have 1 last stitch left and I have the chain space, and I'm going to decrease over those 2. So there we go, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately turn my work. And now I'm going to work back the other way. So to do that, I want to make this edge to stay flat, and so it goes along parallel to the bottom side. So I'm going to immediately decrease. So first stitch, decrease, and then the next one, decrease, and then I'll work all the way to the last, and in the last stitch I'll work an increase. So if you're working on your rainBOOM, when you're working these diagonal rows in the middle, you want to make sure you keep your tension in check, because with the mini skeins there is only just enough on each skein to make 3 rows in the diagonal. So if you're already having trouble keeping up with your tension, I should say, make sure you maybe think about starting over if you're not having, if your tension is too loose, and or you're going, the alternative then is to only have 2 rows, but then that's going to have quite an impact on the length of your wrap. Okay, so now at the last stitch. All right, so I'm going to work an increase here. So last stitch, work an increase. There we go. You can see now that's a flat line. There's a bit of a bump from where that was my original chain 2, but that's fine. You can block that out when it comes time. Now I'm going to turn again and go back the other way. So I'll chain 2, and turn. Increase immediately in this first stitch. This is exactly the same as it's been for working your 2 triangles. Increase in the first stitch, then we work our way across all the way to the third last this time. So we leave 2 stitches unworked at the end. You might hear a crunching noise in the background. That's my dog eating an ear. I'm just grateful that it's an ear because it's usually a pair of socks. Nearly there. Okay, now I have how many stitches left? I have, you can check by looking at the top, I have 3 stitches left. I want to make it work in the third last and leave the 2 last stitches unworked. You can see here 2 last stitches are unworked, and I'm going to decrease in those 2. So here we go, in that one, and in that one. There we go, there's that decrease. So I'll show you once more. The last 2 stitches are left open. You can see them there if you look at the 2 4 loops. First stitch, second stitch, and through all the loops. And you can see that it's starting to work flat, can't you? And this would be one color change. You would have one color here. Then now you would tie off. You would break your yarn and tie off, work in your ends, and then you would start with it. You would start again at the long side with your next color. So when you're changing colors in the diagonal, you always start at the long side here, and you will always finish and tie off at the short side. Thanks for watching.